Hello and welcome to the Culture Cafe, coming to you from POP, Pride of Place art space in the Prince's Quay Shopping Centre here in Hull. On this episode, we have got a poet who would just as happily sell you other people's books as his own. We have an actor who's taken a break from performing to tell us a story. And we have a singer who's just as happy behind a camera as she is in front of one. First up, with a poem for us, it's Peter Naggs.
The interviewers. They had picks and spades, some had bulldozers. I had a medicine spoon and a toffee hammer. When I couldn't dig up the car park, they told me I didn't work hard enough. They had scrolls, diplomas and photos of themselves throwing their mortarboards in the air because I had to leave school to pay for my father's drinking and gambling habit. They told me I wasn't clever enough. What surprise they expressed that I neglected to bring my pushrod. Why hadn't I thought of it? With a rascally smile they found a knackered cronk. I still could have beat them but for the puncture, the spindle with the crossed thread and the breathless bike pump. When I pointed this out they said, a bad workman always blames his tools. The helicopter dropped us off, them with mobile phones, mates with cars. I had to make it on foot to head office, further south of South. I navigated using moss on the east side of a tree, looked for clues and signs on weather vanes, the sun setting. I had no map or compass. When I couldn't find my way, they said I had no sense of direction. They laughed when I called tea, said it was dinner, and later passed me a guitar without any strings. When I couldn't make it play a note, they told me I had no talent. I suspected something when Tarquin showed up in a wetsuit. Bilderberg had a snorkel, Sebastian a canoe. It looked new. They gave us a tray of petit four. Our task, transport them from jetty to the harbour. Exhausted in the end, I had to put my foot down. Typical, they said, of my type, that we couldn't keep our heads above water. They set me to work for them, gave their type better hours, longer holidays, every chance of promotion. When I stood up to the bullies, they sacked me for swearing.
Hull's literary reputation is built on poetry, and deservedly so. But storytelling is the new kid on the block, despite the fact that writing is older. Thanks to the Freedom to Tell Tales project, a new tradition of storytelling is being made. Gerald Fox is an established actor and a member who, along with other members of the group, is relearning and re-establishing this ancient art within the city. So Gerald, will you be performing or will you be telling us your story, and would you say that there is a difference?
I think there is an element of performing in storytelling, but it's very different from acting. When you're acting, you create a character which effectively you hide behind. There are props, there are costumes. Storytelling, you're very exposed, you're very vulnerable. There's just you and the story. And most importantly, there is the script to fall back on. This is an oral tradition that doesn't rely on the written word. So you familiarise yourself with the bones of the story, but then each time you tell it, hopefully, you tell it slightly differently each time.
Brilliant. So will you tell us your story?
Thank you. This is a story called The Pedlar of Swaffham. If you go to Swaffham in Norfolk, you'll find a beautiful medieval church. And in that church, you'll find the usual tombs and memorials to the rich and well-to-do. But you'll also find a statue, not of a merchant or a civic dignitary, but a poor peddler and his dog. The peddler was a real-life figure in the town of Swaffham. He could be seen in the marketplace selling his wares. One night, the peddler had a dream. He dreamt that he was standing on London Bridge, and while he was stood there, he heard some incredible news. When he woke in the morning, he thought no more about it, but went into the marketplace to sell his wares. That night, he had the very same dream. He dreamt he was on London Bridge, and while he was there, he heard some incredible news. The following day, he thought there might be something in this dream, But London was a very, very long way away, so he went into the marketplace to sell his wares. That night, he had the dream again. He dreamt that he was on London Bridge, and while he was there, he heard some incredible news. He couldn't ignore this dream any longer, so he decided to walk all the way to London. When he got there, his feet were sore and bleeding, and he went to London Bridge. Not as London Bridge is now, but full of houses and shops and teeming with people bustling about their business. And the peddler stood on the bridge and waited and waited. And a day went past and nothing happened. He thought he might give it one more day. So the second day he stood on the bridge and waited to hear this incredible news, but nobody approached him, nobody spoke to him. So a third day came, and as the sun was setting, a man came over to him. He had a shop on the other side of the bridge. "I've seen you standing here. What are you doing? You don't appear to be selling anything, and you're not begging. What on earth brings you here?" The peddler told the man about his dream, and the man laughed. He'd never heard anything so ridiculous. "You've come all the way to London on the strength of a dream?" "Now look, I've had a dream. I've had it several times. I dreamt I was in a place called Swaffham. I don't know where that is. And that there's a poor peddler's hut. And behind the hut is a tree. And buried beneath the tree is a huge chest of gold. Now, do you think I would be stupid enough to go all the way to Swaffham on the strength of that dream? No. Take my advice, young man. Go home and forget this foolishness." The peddler didn't say anything, but he went home as fast as he could. And when he got home, he went to the oak tree behind his house, and he dug and he dug, and sure enough, there was a chest full of gold. From that day onwards, the peddler was a great benefactor to the town and people of Swaffham. And the parish church had fallen into disrepair, so he used some of his money to restore it to its former glory, so that when he died, the people of Swaffham erected a statue of the peddler and his dog, and it still stands there to this very day. Thank you.
Today I'm with Izzy Thomas, a local singer-songwriter, and she's going to play you a song and then I'm going to talk to her after you. So take it away.
Think you're a grown man? Hell no, I think you're cool, 'cause your jeans hang low. It's about my time I switch the roles. Yeah, I'm done now, you can go. See, I'm not the concrete under your feet. I won't change to suit your needs. You got nothing I haven't seen. Don't tell me how a woman should be. You can't have roses in your hands. It won't make you perfect or even my kind of man. So go ahead, put on your show. But there's one thing you should know. I can't take this come and go. My true love is rock and roll. Where I'm from, we don't play those silly games. Yeah, you better know we don't play those silly games. give me a pen and paper. Let me write it down for you to remember. For the last time, can you listen now? Choking on your presence, I need to get out. I'm tearing my hair out. I got comfortable dreaming in the bed of delusion. But now I'm shaking awake. There's no more to say. I'm breaking away. You, I can't have roses in your hands. It won't make you perfect or even my kind of man. So go ahead, but on your show. But there's one thing you should know. I can't take this come and go. My true love is rock and roll. Where I'm from, we don't play those silly games. Yeah, you better know we don't play those silly games. So go ahead, but on your show. But there's one thing you should know. I can't take this come and go. My true love is rock and roll. Where I'm from, we don't play those silly games, no. Yeah, you better know we don't play those silly games. We rock and roll.
Thank you very much for that. That was absolutely amazing. Like, now, a question I'm going to ask you is, like, what do you draw inspiration from when you're sort of writing your songs? Are there any artists you look up to in particular?
Yeah, a lot of artists. A lot of the underground artists, a lot of the amazing underground artists that you don't see on TV or even hear on radio sometimes, that I get to share stages with on the music scene. Everything that goes through my eyes and ears, really.
That's a good way to do it, really. Because do you think you have a genre specifically? Because a lot of people today have sort of invented their own genres to suit their own needs, sort of combining different things together. But do you think you sort of fit into something? Do you think you're completely different, or you're completely different then?
That sounds. I'd say. I'd sound really big-headed saying that, but it's actually it can prove to be a problem sometimes, because when the team and I submit my music to some showcases and radio stations, they're like, oh, it's not happy enough, or
Not happy enough.
or it's not. They play more upbeat kind of things. I have a couple of upbeat songs, but I'd say mine is quite dark. Like, I'd say pop rock, but more experimental and bluesy.
That's a good way to do it. Now, obviously, Hull's got Sea of Culture. It means a lot for artists, especially local ones, because there's going to be a lot of more gigs and venues opening up. What do you think, like, you'll be involved with that with? Do you think you'll be trying to get gigs at all these new different events? Do you think that a lot of more people will notice your music? Do you think it's going to boost your career?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the whole music scene has just progressed so much over a short period of time, with festivals like Humber Street Sesh, Freedom Festival.
Yeah.
And it's just growing and growing, and it's improved so much.
It has, definitely. I mean,
Definitely.
there's a lot of different venues these days. Like, what would you say is your favourite venue in Hull? I mean, it's a hard question, obviously, but, like, what was the best sort of crowd you've ever experienced in Hull?
I went to a friend of mine. They had an EP launch, and the Fruit, I'd say, was a really cool
Fruit,
venue to be
yeah.
in because it was absolutely packed.
It's always packed in the Fruit.
Yeah, so I'd say that was pretty cool.
Well, thank you very much for that, Izzy. We're going to hear from you later. Now, back to Alan. Here's with the poet.
Peter Knaggs is one of Hull's most significant poets, not just because he used his position as a bookseller to outsell J.K. Rowling for a week, and not just because he's a multi-award winner, but also because he's the editor of The Slab, which is one of the most exciting poetry publications of recent years. Peter, what's The Slab?
Well, The Slab, it's a big, chunky book packed with bare-knuckled street writers. I had this idea or this thought that I like writers like Irving Welsh and Dan Fante, and I also like writers like Julian Barnes and Peter Carey. And so I wanted to have a book which was literary but was working class really too. And I also wanted to do this thing. I wanted to give newcomers a chance. So that's I've got a book here which is, you know, when you get The Slab, you get a book like this. It's got about 200 poems in. It's a tenner, and
This one's called The Hull Connection.
yeah, this is the Hull Connection, which I brought out at around about the time of Larkin 25, and in this one you get 26 poets from Hull, including Mess from Life, and it's if anyone's looking for a gift for their auntie for Christmas, and they're interested in Hull poets, this is the beast.
So what's the future for The Slab?
Oh, well, the next slab, I think, is going to be each slab of Yorkshire poetry, and then the one after that is going to be the slab of shaggers, slappers, scrappers, boozers, cruisers and drug abusers. Then it's going to be the slab, a modern anthology of popular speed wobble poetry, and then I think I might do a slab of love.
That's brilliant. You're a very creative fella, and you seem to have an incredible memory for words as well, much more than me. Would you give us some more poems?
Yeah, of course, yeah. In that direction. Go past Poundsland, past everything for a pound, buy pound squeezer, pound finder, pound pincher, pound pounder, pound squasher, pound basher, pound, make a beeline for it's a quid, turn right at purveyors of the finest quality gifts for a pound, it's next door to Mighty Pound. If you reach Pound Fair, turn around, you've gone too far. Go back to the Quid Squad, opposite Wonder Pound, turn right at Planet Pound, go on by Poundemonium, £1 please, £1 please sir, £1 please madam, the original pound shop, buy that one that was there first, the Pound Zone, up past £1 it is, and there you go, there you have it, there it is, everything you need, 10p. I went on holiday to Montenegro, and when I was in Montenegro, they have an undeveloped electricity board, shall we say. And when we used to turn the lights on, it would take a while for them to come on. So I did this thing that my boy thought was humorous, where I would stand there and say, "Let there be light," which comes into this poem. Coffee and watermelon. Watermelon. It will forever remind me of Croatia. Every time I take a knife and turn the small planet of that variegated case, half frog, half grasshopper, half basketball, half rugby ball. Every time I take a long sharp knife, then cut into it and slice it, it does it. Josep said, "It is bothersome spitting out each seed, but there are days, invariably sunny ones, when it is right. We have an old Yugoslav folk song. One for blue, two for white. Let there be electric, let there be light. 5 for green of the watermelon skin, 6 for rose-coloured fruit within. Yeah, yeah. Then he spat out a seed. 7 for sky, 8 for the winds, 9 for priests who forgives good Yugoslavs their sins. How could I ever forget the dread on that footpath back from the beach to face the generous-hearted Croatian family? They have lent me their inflatable boat. It's under my sunburnt arm, burst. I burst it. 10 for the sea, 11 for the rocks. I spit out 4 watermelon seeds. 13 for urchins, 14 for octopus, 15 a fish, 16 a kiss. 17 a wish, 18 an undulating bobbing jellyfish. And the Croatians act as if it is all the blame of the boat. The boat, of course, is totally to blame. I am not at fault, and I don't feel quite an English buffoon. The deeper red top of "ja" has more taste, says Joseph, but the rose pink quenches thirst like nothing else. Coffee black watermelon pips circle our saucers. Watermelon, perfect for incandescent afternoons with Greek coffee. Sheepish, we are invited to join the Croatian family at the table in the blazing yard. I puncture the inflatable boats they play with their children, and they respond by making me, my wife, my girl and my boy coffee and giving us watermelon, and I've never forgotten it. So this is another holiday one. The guidebooks sometimes deceive you, and I went to a blue cave which was a bit rubbish, so I wrote this. Tourist brochures will tell you any old bollocks. How many things are blue? My shirt, my sea-faded boat shoes, my ice cube printed swimming shorts, the lilo. Even my suitcase is a hue of turquoise. How many things are blue? This sky blue sky, this sea blue sea, John Wayne's eyes. Butterflies have guided us from Herceg-Novi to our rented boat. It has chugged past a mothballed World War II submarine hull, 2 abandoned 19th century forts, 1 complete with 3 nudists. Dolphins have shown us the way to Plava Spilja, the blue grotto. Bats carousel the stalagmites. From our boat, we jump into the ocean. We plunge down, and as we swim up, we transform. No longer these people, we are another. We bob up, the tourist swimmers. Our hearts turn blue like beating bats. Our bones turn blue. I feel it candle wax in my spine like an electric skeleton. My veins run blue like blue wine blood. Our teeth chalk up. Our eyes are opals and moonstone. Our hair darkens like the sea before a storm. Throttles dilate and our knuckle-headed voices head out of our throats like something ancient from times long gone. How many things are blue? In Plava Spilja, a blue pen animates the rock walls in primitive art. A blue and blue film shows azure, sky blue, royal blue, porcelain, the ink blue of the lagoon. Our song shoots from deep in our blue soul like blue aeroplane jets. My son is a cave boy, blue like a sun cream bottle. My girl is a cave girl, blue like a cornflower. My wife, a cave woman of blueness, a real cave jewel. Halos shape themselves above the heads of all of us, all the tourist swimmers. Our hinds sprout fur like blue bears, and I am the blue man. We are baptized, absolved, reborn, all blue cavemen and cave women swimming in our jocundity, ebullient and exuberant, transformed and singing. Listen. Hear the cavemen singing. It's good news they're bringing. Now, not a holiday one. All I'll say about this one is that I used to work as a mobile disc jockey. Let us sometimes say thank you to inanimate objects like my HMV anti-static cleaning cloth. Some things stay with us without changing for years, like my HMV anti-static cleaning cloth, which I have right here. It contains its own weight of status like a chasuble. Each time following my use of it, I take it like a ceremonious high-class waiter would take a laundered napkin to set a table place for a person of majesty, and I quarter it with his very precision and deference. I then slide it back into its plastic bag and into its card pack. Upon purchase, my HMV anti-static cleaning cloth was moist. The daffodil colour felt mildly soaked in a meth-like cleaner. Nowadays, it's dried up, which isn't surprising seeing as I've had it for 20 odd years or over. Enough time for us to know each other well, for there to be some understanding or trust, and maybe even some shared love. For vinyl, I mean, the lucky fella cleaning my collection, and that no small thing. After all, say I was playing Hi-O Silver Lining, or better still, Al Wilson, the Snake. It'd be no good if a dot of dust or a thumbprint of fat from a buffet drumstick tripped the stylus, upsetting the dance floor at the wrong moment. And momentum is so important, as is timing and moving from one song to another. I'm not kidding when I say Billy Ocean, Love Really Hurts Without You is a really top record. You can jump from the 60s to 70s, Motown to pop, 70s to 80s, pop to soul. Usually that segue was enough. So here I am, 24 years later, vinyl in a cupboard upstairs, devoted to my wife with 2 blonde kids. I've moved house 9 times, and at each move, my HMV anti-static cleaning cloth has moved with me and cleaned my music. And it's still doing well. Just this morning it sorted out Southern Tenant Folk Union, Lucille Bogan, Edwina Hayes, Big Joe Turner and Sugar Pie DeSanto. And it might be odd, but hey, maybe we should all have and show more gratitude to inanimate but reliable objects. Thank you, HMV anti-static cleaning cloth. It's good to have someone who remains.
Thank you, Peter Naggs. So one last thing to do, and that is say goodbye and then go to some music. So we'll just say that the Culture Cafe will be here with another episode shortly, and we hope you've enjoyed it here at POP, Pride of Place exhibition space in Hull in Princess Quay Shopping Centre. So you heard from Izzy Thomas earlier. I'll just say it was good to hear Edwina Hayes mentioned in Peter Naggs' poem there, as she's a local artist too. Izzy Thomas did us a great song earlier. Let's finish with another. Izzy.
The smell of big city fumes get you high, feeling brand new. Now life tastes sweeter than cinnamon. Oh, keep selling your soul until keep singing those words like they are wrong, but I'll never sell my soul. Pearl white smiles around you, but only for the while. A pocket heavy with paper, but hollow smiles keep selling your soul to make her gold. Keep singing those words like they are wrong, but I'll never sell my soul. Under the world's merciless eyes, better arm yourself, choose your weapons wise. Keep selling your soul to make your gold. Keep singing those words like they're your own. I'll never